Hey Kevin, you're the first one in. Can you hear me good? Hey guys, can you hear me? And if you can, how does it sound? Does it sound good, or is there a whole lot of background noise? I would. Okay, all right. So I got a back trail dust and Daniel DeBaca. Let's see, a couple things since last week that have changed. I was dragging out my laptop and putting it way over there, and I had to keep going over here and leaning over and looking to read my chat. So I mounted a TV up here, and I brought out an old desktop I had and set that up so that I wouldn't have to keep bringing my laptop in and out. I actually did bring my laptop out just in case I had technical problems tonight. But now I'm using a laptop with the two cameras, and I'll be able to look up there. I can see my chat a lot easier. I don't have to lean over there. Over there is actually what everybody else is seeing, so that's, you know, I'm signed into a different account watching it to make sure I don't get the little spinning wheel, but it looks pretty good. I don't have any 3 minutes in, and I've got 0 drop frames. My sound's good and everything. We'll just give it a couple minutes and give some people a chance to pop in while I grab a couple hammers and stuff. I'm off to a little bit of a late start. Me and my daughter are running on a little mission, trying to find some. My dog's in heat, and her dog keeps going after it. And we had to go find some CBD tincture to calm the dog down, because we haven't slept in a couple days because the dog just whining constantly because he can't have the girl. All right. And hammer. Actually, I might just need, that might be the only hammer I need. How you doing, Adam? Check and see if we can get some notices. All right, guys, so I got a piece that's already straightened out, and all it is a piece of a coil spring. Nothing fancy. These are smaller ones. They're just, you know, like car coil springs. I didn't get these ones from work. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make a holdfast out of this piece of coil spring. So, got a hammer. Let me grab a 1/2-inch tongs. Get it to fire and get it started warming up. This is a fairly simple project, so I may end up making more than one. Although I don't know why, because I have like 4 of them here in my shop already. God. Who invited him? Then you had to be in before you could go out. There's a height limit. You got to be at least this tall to watch the stream. I'm only kidding. You're my favorite little person to pick on. Okay, so on mine, I'll grab a bigger one. I like to make it so that it's the full size here, and then it tapers down so that it has more spring down here on this end. And this stays about the same size. And then I just put a ball foot on the end so that, you know, it has a contact patch there. So the first thing I do is, just like when you make a leaf or something, hang a little bit of material off the edge of the anvil and neck down an area, just like you would when you make a stem on a leaf. So hang a little bit off. Start isolating some of that mass. I'll go back in. It looks a lot hotter on the camera than it really is. For these guys that know, I mean, I think this is like maybe the 4th or the 5th live stream I've done. It's the first one that I'm doing through OBS with multiple cameras. So, but having that screen up there to see the chat is a lot easier. So I'm just going to draw a nice long taper down to that mass that I left out there. Because it's spring steel, it works a little harder, so it's going to take a few more heats than if I was doing it in mild. £10 at 300 degrees. Okay. Does it really add 10 pounds? Oof, yeah. And this size spring is just a little bit too big to go in my pritchel hole. So we're going to have to resize the whole shank too. And to do that, we'll go over and do it on a power hammer. So that's why I got the camera set up over there. You can see I'm just drawing that taper down and making it longer. The one that I have, now, I have several here, but like that's my shortest one and that's my longest one. So this one I'll probably just make in between the two. So, yeah, when Yana starts again, everybody asking where's John. Now, we had discussions, and what I'd kind of like to see is, you know, Yana is kind of busy quite often, so we'd kind of like to set it up so that different people got the equipment and we could take turns and keep that Island Metal Forge channel alive. All right, let me do one more heat drawn. I'm just trying to get that to be a nice, gradual, even taper without a lot of hammer marks. Because when you go to bend it later, if you have a lot of hammer marks, it's going to not want to bend easy if it's notchy and the thickness is not smooth. As you can see, my hammered finish is relatively smooth. So now I'll go in and we'll warm up, we'll heat up and start working on that end. And then we'll do the 90-degree corner. And then I'm actually going to put a reverse bend on it, the opposite way of where it's going to be, so that I can use the hammer to draw out the shank. Out of here when the phone will cooperate. Yeah, and I went back and I seen that a couple people had made asked me questions and stuff, and I didn't see them because my laptop was over there, and I had to lean over there and try to read on that little itty bitty screen. So, like Speargrass had asked me if I'm near New York City. No, I'm about 5 or 6 hours from New York City, and I'm up in the middle of New York State. So I'm spreading it out. Then I'll stand it up. Start to round it up just a little bit, and then I'm going to go back in and take another heat. This coil spring really is hard to work once it starts cooling off compared to mild steel. Yeah, I'm actually, I'm north of Syracuse, New York. I'm in between Syracuse and Watertown. So, pretty close to the middle of the state. Well, maybe I'm only about 5 hours from New York City. I can't remember. I haven't been there in a long time. A lot of times I'm my own worst enemy because I try to get things too perfect, and it takes me a while. Because if you look at that, like there's a little flat on this side yet, and I'll go back and take another heat. Most people would say good enough, but I'll take another heat and I'll fix that up. So that is not too bad. It's reasonably round. It's tapered right down to it. So I'm going to heat up back in here and we'll go ahead and put the bend in it. So we'll do a 90-degree bend. Now there's several ways that we can do that. We can offset it and fill that corner. We can just do a bend, or you could do that like Haberman 90 degrees where you take and you want that to come to a corner there, so you bend it, but then you just make it a little thinner back in there and bring it out. I haven't tried too many of them. I might do it on this one because it's actually going to be easier than doing the upset square. But I like to do them upset 90 degrees right in the vise. And somebody told or asked me on the last stream, like I said, I couldn't read like I can now, to see my shovel, and I got a couple of them. This one is a round one, just a piece of round stock. I cut a piece out roughly the shovel shape, and then I just bent the end with no form or anything, just put it over the corner and rolled that edge up all the way around on that one. And I did that 20 years ago probably, at least. And then the other one that I have has a wheat twist handle, and the shovel is just basically everything backwards, but basically just square, and the corners are folded and they got little rivets in it right in the corner. So Steve at North Country Forge is maybe an hour and a half away from me. And I ran into Steve years ago he was doing a demonstration at Woodsman's Field Days. And I saw the thing on it said there was going to be a blacksmith, so I went out of my way to go up there, and I met him. can see there that I got the bend, and it's a little round. I'll heat it up, and I'm going to spend one heat, and I'll set a little bit into there, but I'm not going to stay there and keep doing it for very long. It's really not that important for it to be totally square. I mean, I do have, like some of the others that are like that, where I just bend it and stop. And you can see it's not square back there. Still works perfect. Yeah, mine were just goofing around. I mean, if I took time and made a good shovel, I could do a lot better, but like I said, that one I made like 20 years ago, and the other one's probably almost as old. You let that heat up pretty good. And I got that corner, it's filled most of the way out. So now I got to resize this because it doesn't fit down in my hole. But in order to get it in my dies, I'm going to actually take this section here and I'm going to bend it the opposite way of where it ends up being. So that it gives me a handle and I can get it in under the dies. So let me put that in, let it warm up a little bit. And when I go over to my hammer, when I go over my hammer, I got a block. And I got a bunch of these, and they're just blocks with different sizes. Like this is a 1/2 inch thick up here. That's what I'm going to make it, it's 1/2 inch. And it's got a 1/4 inch. My camera just jumped around weird, but I'm looking to see if it did it over there. Looks fine over there. But all right, so this has got two different sizes: a 1/4 inch. Oh, it did jump, and a 1/2 inch. So I can set it like this and use it for a 1/4 inch, or I can set it like that way and use it for a 1/2 inch. And it just goes on the edge of my die, and I put a clamp on it. You'll see it when I go over to that hammer cam. Now I'll set it in there, and I just got a clamp. And clamp it in, and that just keeps it, once the hammer die hits it, it stops it. It's called a kiss block. And like I said, I have them in few different sizes and different thicknesses. So turn that on and I'll hit it once and it'll set it down tight and be ready to go. Shut that off. I'll burn it up here. Okay, so I'm going to bend it out of the way. So that I can get my shank in under that hammer. Spin it around, put that in. Start heating that shank up. That's the bad part. Sometimes in blacksmithing, you're just sitting there and you're spending a lot of time just waiting for, you know, it's like, oh, I heated up that part just so that I could make that convenience bend. Now I got to go back in and heat a totally different area and wait for it. Prison chance. Only if I sharpen it up. And on this size stock, you're going to see, you'll see, probably in this main cam better than over there, but you'll see that I'm barely running this hammer a lot of the times, and I'm slowing down and not running it wide open because, you know, it's pretty small stock and it'll smush it out pretty quick. So now I got it heated up. We'll go over here. Oh, that vise. I gotta quit leaning that vise up against the forge because it's big, it's heavy, and when it falls, it's gonna wipe something out. Alright, so I got it sized down to like 1/2 inch. But as you can see, it's 1/2 inch and it's square. So the beauty of the kiss block is a round is 1/2 inch. So if you put that in and then you go for that octagon and go for the round, the kiss block does it all for you. It keeps it even. Alright, now I'll go in, I'll tip it up. see. And it rounded it up pretty good. It fits in my hole now. So now all I got to do is heat it up and shape that other end. Cut this off. Everything's coming apart over there. My vise fell over here, over there. My drill press vise fell off the drill press. Yeah, Tobacco, I only have like one rule in this, you know, in my live streams and this. You're not allowed to say magnesium. Nah, I'm just kidding. I could care less. Alright, so now we just gotta, we bend it out this way, and the whole reason for that was so that I could get it in under the dies without the die coming down and hitting this. So I bent it out of the way, made my shank, now I gotta bend it back down and into shape. That's what you get for talking. Yeah. Ben, I would never talk. Yeah, I would. Who am I kidding? All right, so I'm just not gonna bother sliding the vise over, but I'm gonna put it in the vise and take it to that 90-degree spot again. Who knows, someday I might have a couple more cams and I can just set one up over there. But I took it to the 90. I'm going to go ahead and heat this up. This stuff, these coil springs aren't like mild steel. Once they start losing that color and they get to that dull red, they do not want to move. And then I don't heat treat these. I don't do anything to them. I just let them air cool, and that's it. Who knows, maybe I'll send this off to one of the other YouTubers and let them give it away in one of their giveaways. I mean, I've got enough of them. See, by just bending it around, it almost shaped itself. Then I'll drop it in the Fritchel hole. Line it up. It's got a little bit of a got a little bit of a bend to that one side right in here, so I'm going to straighten that out. Just hang that part that I don't want to damage off the edge and hammer that down. Try to get it nice and straight. It's got a little tight bend in there, but I mean, I could open that up a little bit, I guess. So it doesn't look as bad. There, now it's more of a gradual bend. Doesn't have that kink in it. At this point, I'll just put it in, heat it up. Come over and grab my butcher block brush. I don't have an arrow on it or anything. I, use it whatever direction I grab it. Clean it up, and then I'll just set it aside where it can cool off nice and slow, because it is a spring. And that one's pretty close to being done. And I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty close to round, but it's not as good as I like it. So I'll go in and, like, I got a little bump right there. I'll take it over to the sander, the 2x72 belt grinder, and I'll touch that up. And this end, I will put a little bevel on it, like that. I don't know if you can see it. And I'll put a little bevel on it. But I was going for in between that one and that one. So it's less than that, or less than that, and more than that, so. And that's it for that one. So we'll just set that up there for now. Let it cool off, sitting up there on a brick. Somebody else asked me in the stream that I did last week if this was fire bricks. It is not. It is regular red clay bricks, except for I have about 6 fire bricks right around my fire pot. And that's the only spot, is right where the bricks that the fire pot sits in is fire brick around that. The rest of it was all just regular old building clay bricks. Okay. Now I have another piece of coil spring. This one is small enough to fit in my hardy hole. It's actually like just over 3/8, and it's smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and make a. Oh, Adam says he makes them the bent ones that don't have the 90-degree corner. I've actually never made one that way, but I'm going to go ahead. But he said, Adam, did you say something about making a leaf or something on the end of it? A Beaver 2x82. My 2x72 is over here. It's just a homemade one. The frame of it is made out of receiver tube. I know I got a piece here somewhere. The frame of mine is made out of like 2.5-inch receiver tube. And then, like the piece here, just slides into it. And then you can pull them out and change. Because I got this one with the 2 wheels and the flattened, and I got a wheel that goes on this one. But I pulled it apart because it had a bad bearing and I need to replace the bearing. And we got into the conversation earlier about coal. And Adam was saying the size of the coal that was the perfect size or whatever. And the coal that I have right now goes right down to fine powder. Right up to good sized chunks. But it cokes up really well, so I can throw them big chunks right on there. They're just going to coke up, and then I'll break the coke apart. When I first started using this coal, I got a whole pallet of it, or a half pallet. I think I bought a half pallet. And I was breaking them all up, but I don't bother doing that anymore. So now Jack is on here, and Jack has a nice page. A lot better layout than mine and stuff, and you know, because he's more of a more technical, computer savvy, I guess would be. I'm a pretty good blacksmith, but I'm crap on computers. We're just going to heat it up and straighten it and get a good length of this. Probably won't bother even straightening the whole thing because it's going to be way longer than I need. But
That's what someone used to do.
big toe, little toe. I don't have that. I got a pointer. Yeah, I'm just trying to wing it and make something that actually anybody will even want to watch. I mean, I don't have any intentions, and I told everybody already, I don't have any intentions of completely taking over, doing live streams every single weekend or anything like that. But I would like to get it to where there's more people on, you know, going right through Island Metal Forge or whatever, and we can do, you know, spread it around. Because I really, you know, I miss my Sunday afternoon, you know, 6 o'clock at night, live streams. That's the pointer finger, that's not a middle finger. And if you look, the other fingers are there too. Look at that. I wasn't paying attention and I burn it off. Oh, crumbly. Yeah, you know what? I think for this other one, I'm just going to grab a piece of steel and make it out of a piece of mild. Now, Adam said something earlier about, I thought he said that the foot part of it, he makes a leaf on the end of the bar. But I wasn't sure. Ben Toon, Jay needs to do a live stream next. Yeah, Ben, when are you going to do one? I mean, it'd be nice for me to be able to heckle you once in a while. I mean, I'll let Yamas know. Maybe we'll all gang up. And I don't know if anybody's got anything they want to see in a future one. Let me know. And you know, I mean, if it's something easy, because I'm not going to tackle anything really hard on a live stream, you know. But let me know, and maybe if it's something I can do, I'll go ahead and do it. I mean, I was bored the other day and did a stylized leaf. Made a hammer. I still haven't put a handle on it. I got two, you know, I got a smaller radius and a real big one. Ask me what? You know, Ben, Thomas said as well that he had to have 50 subscribers in order to do a live, and I don't even have 50 subscribers. Even now, I had 1 subscriber and it let me live, so I don't know what's going on with that. But I suppose if I was to make a quick and dirty one, and I wasn't super interested in making it perfect, you could just make a small square foot on the end of it. Put it in, heat it up. The 90-degree isn't totally necessary. Yeah, Ben, we want to see it. Inquire in mice. I've never even seen Ben. I want to see Ben blacksmith something. Anything. It doesn't even matter. But if you're just making that quick and dirty, that doesn't have that 90-degree bend, then I've never made one before, but like I said, it doesn't seem to me like it'd be that big a deal to make it. So I'll try to do one real quick. Yoda maker. You have a channel, Ben? I'll have to look it up. I probably didn't subscribe to you because, you know, well, you're you. Make a leaf, me? Or Ben? This is by far the best one. That's for sure. It does, folks. Crawford, that's only fan. Okay? Ben has an only fan, and that's not plural. So I guess, you know, that's basically the same thing. You're just not putting a 90-degree corner in there. So I'm going to go ahead and, this was mild, I'll throw it right in and cool it off. Alright, I had to throw it in the bandsaw and just cut it off in the bandsaw. But yeah, that style works too. I mean, there's nothing fancy to it. I'm sure, even though this is mild steel, that it'll hold. So you can, you know, if you don't want to go through the time and effort of making all that, you can just do that. It's pretty much the same thing. All right, so shut that down for a second. I said, that end is kind of gnarly. It's actually torch cut. But yeah, see, just put a little bevel on the end of that, and then touched up that end to fix the couple little imperfections it had in it. Everything's backwards. Look how neat my shop is. Yeah, you see all this garbage up on this, you know, here, and you know, I mean, back on the other side of my forge in that corner, you're not seeing all the, you know, the stuff that's out of frame. My shop is definitely not neat. It needs a cleaning really bad. So now I have 5 hold downs. 6 if I count this one. To be honest with you, I probably won't ever use this one. Yeah, and I mean, if you're doing the upset, the real upset 90, like the first one I did was probably like this one, and I actually upset that whole corner before I even started drawing this out, and then it just ended up being whatever length it was when I got done. And even these two, even though they aren't upset, they still got that 90-degree bend, so. Hate this. Every time I hold something over, I go this way and it's that way. Everything's backwards in the camera for me. Yeah, I'm trying to get Yames to get back into it. I mean, he's just busy, but I've gone through that in my blacksmithing too, where, you know, I just hit a rut and months would go by and I wouldn't even go out to the shop. And yeah, Ben, you don't have to be good to do a live stream. I mean, like, I remember watching some of Jack's first streams and he was just making like a leaf keychain. And I still watched the whole thing. I mean, it's all about just getting out there and doing it. None of us, now, trying to think, I don't think, none of us that are here now are professional smiths. And even amongst the group that, you know, the normal Island Metal Forge viewers and stuff, there's not too many of them that are, you know, actual working full-time smiths. I think Robert Lonis is, but aside from him, I don't know. Maybe Hans Groff, but Hans kind of quit hanging out right about the same time I started watching Island Metal Forge. This can go in the scrap. These can go on the shelf. I do it, just not on film. Well, I did it, but just not on film too until a couple weeks ago. And Sully was there, spent a few hours just trying to help me out setting the computer stuff up because I didn't know nothing about it. Well, Ben doesn't do that on or off film. Well, Hans, I think he stayed on for like a year after he won at Quad States because I remember watching him and everybody was hanging out with him while he was demonstrating the next year, which was the year that Roy, I think, won the next year. Who'd you send the laptop to, Hans? So far with I was worried about having two cameras because I'm really just using an old desktop that I had set up that really, I set it up during COVID to do iRacing, but even then it wasn't a very good computer. It was just barely met the requirements and stuff. So I was kind of worried about whether I was going to be able to run two cameras, but it seems to be doing it just fine. I've been running for an hour and 7 minutes. I've got 0 drop frames. So I think I might even be able to put a third camera on here. You know, and these are just cheap webcams. They're not even, I couldn't get my DSLR to work right. And I might even put a third one on and have it zoomed right in on my anvil or over on my vise. And leave that one over there on the power hammer. Yeah, I mean, I might not mess with it, but like I said, I mean, I could literally get a third camera and just just leave it on, not even toggle it or anything, and just put that third camera down here. Have the power hammer, my close-up anvil, and then the big general one over here. But this definitely, having the TV mounted up, and I just grabbed a cheap TV, you know, during the week, because I got tired of looking at my tiny little laptop screen over there, and I got tired of bringing my laptop in and out, so I set this one up during the week and hung a 42-inch, you know, cheap TV up there that I got off Facebook Marketplace just so that I could read the chat. And it's much, much easier now up here than it was over there, because I'd have to literally go over there, lean over, get close enough to see that little screen. So, I guess maybe I'll throw a piece in and, you know, just cool off and warm down and make it a little hook. Or maybe I should save that for another stream. Thomas Goodham mentioned earlier that he might be doing a stream around 8 o'clock. I should send him a message and see if he still plans on doing that. I just sent Thomas a message to find out. And my nose itches. What does that mean? I mean, if your hand itches, it means you're going to get some money. But what does it mean when your nose itches? one. Starting to spread it. You walk away for 5 minutes and what? You didn't miss anything. And everybody's seen me make a leaf probably by now. Here we go. We'll use the new hold down. Oh, I gotta get up. just goofing around, guys, so that, you know, keeping the chat open so you guys can chat. You know. Just goofing around, making a leaf. Like I said, Thomas said that he might be doing a demo tonight. So we'll have to see. Took that one and folded it right in half. And then when I unfolded, yeah, still live. Not just one. It is my wife, guys. But that don't mean you gotta change the way you talk or anything. I mean, she lives with me. She's heard it all. You can talk about anything you want except for what Ben did with that chipmunk back in the 90s. Yeah, Peg, I did, hang on, I gotta, okay, Thomas said probably closer to 8:30. Let me ask him what platform. Superhero outfit. Hard to get good up close. But I keep it and I don't, you know, it's not flat. So yeah, guys, Thomas said probably closer to 8:30. So I'll probably shut this down and go up to the house and catch him from up there. And no, Kevin couldn't have done the horses. He's been sitting here watching me diligently for the last 1 hour and 24 minutes. Either that or he snuck off and I just didn't notice. But he usually says when he's leaving. Now I'm always walking over, hanging tools back up, trying to keep this place reasonably clean. As long as it's in parts. Actually, my garage has been horrible, absolutely horrible. And this year, I actually got out there and I put pallet racks in and got stuff up and stacked up and on pallet racks and, you know, up on shelves and stuff. And for the first time in 15 years, my wife can park her car inside the garage. I feel like that other blacksmith that from overseas that does all the videos and never talks. I'm just sitting here, not even telling you what I'm doing, just popping out a quick hook, goofing off. But yeah, anybody got any other ideas for what they, you know, want to see, throw it out. I mean, the most I can do is say no. Rounded it up. A left hand missing. Now I'm rounding that all up. Wait. Switch to a different hammer. Now you can see, dang it. Yeah, there you go. Round it up. Let me heat that up and touch that up a little bit. That was a pointing thing, now it's a hook. Horses hold a grudge. Fiddling with it so much I'll lose the heat by the time I get it. I want to make a tool that drops into my hardy hole, and it's like a vise, but I can squeeze. So that if I got something I want to stand up, I can stand it up, squeeze it in that little vise. Like these hooks. But for now, I'll just use a holdfast. The one that I made earlier, but you can see I bent that up a little bit too much. Because it's digging in behind it and not even using that pad. Now I'm dropping everything. Over the years, I love doing these leaf hooks at demos and stuff. And I have probably given away at least 100 of these things at demonstrations. Yeah, I'm still here. I just wasn't talking. I was trying to be quiet and just, so you guys could talk in the chat. I didn't want to close it right out and leave you guys all hanging. See, I'm starting to bend it around. I don't know why I put these away. Well, I do, because I wasn't planning on making a hook. I was just planning on making a leaf, but since I was standing here goofing off anyway. Sometimes when I bend them around, it deforms that little divot that I put in there when I make my hole. back in, straighten it back out. Like I said, this is a fun little project. I like making these. I do them a lot of times at demos over the years. Not too bad. For you guys out there, these butcher block brushes, if you don't have one, get one. Just running it over, if you take that piece and bring it up to a good hot heat and just run this brush over it, you'd be surprised. I mean, it'll even take out shallow hammer marks. You got it nice and hot when you brush it. And I'm surprised Thomas didn't jump in and watch. But, you know, I gotta expect that of him. Okay. Now, my wife asked me once to make a shepherd's hook. So, years ago, my wife asked me to make a shepherd's hook. So I went ahead and I took a piece of 1/2-inch square and I made a shepherd's hook. But then I was like, you know, it just came up and bent over and I made the shepherd's hook, but then I said, well, you know what, I'll make another one coming off the other side. So I got 2. And then I was like, well, you know what, I came off and went to those 2 sides, but then I put another 2 in, so I had 1 in each corner. And I had 4 hooks. And then I looked at it and I said, well, the top above where them hooks come up and branch out doesn't look right. So I took a piece and I tapered it down and I did a twist and made a spire coming up out of the top of it. Well, then I was like, I started to get so much on it that 1/2-inch shaft wasn't heavy enough. So I took 1/4-inch rods and wrapped them all the way around it so that it looked like a rope going up, you know. And then I thought to myself, well, this is getting kind of fancy. I can't be leaving this out in the front yard. Somebody's going to steal it. So I made scroll legs for it so that I could put it in the house, and it ended up being a coat rack when I got done. That's what I made when my wife asked me to make her a shepherd's hook, and I told her, go to Walmart and buy a shepherd's hook if you want one. Is that far enough, Peg? Hit it with a brass wire brush. Now they say that as long as you have forged scale on it and your brush is soft enough, and this is a really, really soft brush. They say that if you have forged scale on it and your brush is soft enough, you can actually get this to brush on at room temperature. But it brushes on better when it's hot. got the little piece still hanging on there. There we go. There we go. Now it's gone. Now I got two good holes. Take a rag and wipe it off. Yeah, I got a deadbolt on the door over there pegged, so, you know, I got heat, I got a TV, I don't have to come up to the house. You know. Yeah. You're just jelly. So, and you can see everything's backwards. But so now I got one of these hooks. I'd give it to my wife, but well, I don't like her that much. So there we go. I even used the holdfast that I made earlier. But like I said, I will have to heat that area up just a little bit because I overbent it. And if I try to just bend it back with that spring steel without heating it up, it will break right off. So what time do we have? Oh, it's 8 o'clock, so I'm going to shut down, guys. We're going to shut this down, head up to the house. Thomas should be on around 8:30. I asked him what platform, but he never answered me back. So I don't know if he's going to be on YouTube or on Facebook or what the deal is. Where was he? Okay, no, he said YouTube, he's going to try that and let me know when I hop out into the shop. So he's going to call me and let me know he's going to try to do YouTube. So it'd be nice if we can get a few guys that, you know, want to spread it out and we can keep doing our Sunday night game, because, you know, maybe next weekend, maybe Alexis can do it. What do you say? And we can take turns, because I definitely, I don't mind doing a couple few here and there, but I definitely do not want to be stuck doing it every single week. Shut my fan off. Bust that up. Actually got a little door here that I can close down so that the all the heat doesn't go straight out the chimney. Ben, you really should do a live stream. You know, if nothing else, give me a chance to heckle you back. Turn that on. Alright guys, I'm going to shut down, head up to the house. I brought my laptop down here even though I didn't use it tonight, just so that I could, in case I needed it. So I got to take that up, get that set back up, get my headphones and stuff on, and try to catch Thomas's. He said he should be on YouTube. So we got a few projects done tonight. We killed almost 2 hours. So, like I said, you guys, would have been nice if you guys gave me some suggestions for futures, because, I mean, I could come up with stuff for a while, but sooner or later I'm going to run out too. But, alright guys, I'm out.